Can you tell me a little bit about if there is something that went wrong in your experience, and something that you can't disclose is fine, but
And so we become a good mind readers. So you have to be intuitive, but this is something you can also train. And
what's the difference between airline flight attendant and the VIP flight attendant?
private flight for a dog, like a pet, like
Okay.
flying on its own, and
Hello, Araceli. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. Hello, Prakash. Thank you so much for inviting me to participate on this Vebudo Elite show. It's a great pleasure.
It is actually pleasure's all mine, and thank you so much for being part of the show. And I think it's very important for me to bring passionate people like such as yourself and show our clients that how much effort that we put behind the scene to make sure that they have a great experience with us. So it's very important for me, and thank you so much for being part of it. And to our audience, could you tell them a little bit about yourself, where you come from, what you're doing now, and your experience?
Yeah, sure. So I have 19 years of experience in the aviation industry. The last 5, I was working as a VIP flight attendant. And some years ago, I decided to launch my own brand, AVIACION VIP, to provide training and guidance to all the future flight attendants who would like to enter in the private aviation industry. As you said before, I'm so passionate, and my 2 passions are training. I have been, working as involved in the training of cabin crew for the last 10 years of my life, and aviation. So I just mixed my 2 passions, and I created this Aviacion VIP. And now I'm so excited on it, and I'm just working very hard to make it a success.
What you said, that's exactly what I do as well. My passion is always, since I was 4 years old, I wanted to be a pilot. So I finished that, and I was passionate about business. And now I have 4 different businesses, and I still fly as well. So mixing up passion and find a way to put that together is important. And it was nice to hear from you. You mentioned something about your business is you do training for VIP flight attendant. That kind of tells me that it's not airline flight attendant. What's the difference between airline flight attendant and the VIP flight attendant?
As a commercial flight attendant or cabin crew, the job responsibilities are highly centered on the safety. While a corporate or VIP flight attendant training is more focused on the service, the protocol, etiquette, and the gastronomical knowledge. The level of knowledge expected on a VIP flight attendant it's very high, as the job involves like a group of complex tasks that, of course, when you are a good VIP flight attendant, you make it look effortless, but it's a great deal of a job behind it. Let's say like the in-flight dining can be the client's call, but we are the ones responsible to create the experience, to personalize the flight for each client, to take care of each and every detail, to make it a unique experience for the different client. So that's why our training is more focused on, the excellence at the service instead of the safety, which is also important, of course, in a private aviation, but it's not the main thing we are looking for in the training.
The center is more of a customer service and provide good experience.
Exactly.
For them. From that, one thing that rises in my head is that what is the one thing that as a VIP flight attendant is very important thing for a client, or other way I can put it, the one thing that you don't want to mess it up? What is that one thing?
Usually, as a VIP flight attendant, you don't want to mess up with the service because it's like is your major, let's say, is the focus you have when you serve in a client. Of course, things can go wrong sometimes, but we always strive to achieve excellence in everything that we do. If you are like a well-trained VIP flight attendant. So yeah, sometimes things can go wrong. Sometimes you can make a mistake. In these situations, of course, you always try to find a solution. You always try to compensate the client for what have happened. But to be honest, Prakash, is amazing how forgiving the clients can be when you are like behaving like with honesty, communicating with them, explaining them what happened, and they truly feel that you are doing whatever you can do to create the great and the best experience you can do for them. So yeah, it's a very, very like it's an easy job, but at the same time it's very demanding. You always have to be on the top of things.
Yeah, no, as you mentioned, service, it's something that you never wanted to mess it up, I think, and that's very key. Mm-hmm. On your post and the way you are and everything that you do, I follow you on LinkedIn, all your posters, and I see that perfection. Is it something is key for you, or it just comes naturally for you? Because I can see on your post, you're very careful even on a picture, how you post it, and it's just attention to detail. Because I'm the same way as well. I want everything to look good. So, and I want them to have great experience. So is it something come naturally, or is it that you train?
Yeah, I believe it's kind of a mix. I think I'm kind of a perfectionist myself. And I also believe like in order to succeed as a VIP flight attendant, you also have to be a little bit of a perfectionist. Perfection sometimes doesn't exist, let's say, but we have to make it look like it's perfect, or at least we have to try to achieve it. So yeah, I think as I said before, in order to succeed as a VIP flight attendant, it's something that comes within the job description to be a perfectionist. But if then on the top of that, you have high personal standards, then you have everything that you need to succeed at this job. But a good VIP flight attendant, we pay attention. We have to pay attention. It's like, it's part of our job. We always have to anticipate to what is going to happen. We have to create a unique, personalized experience depending on the client that we have on board. Let's say we have an anniversary. We have to decorate the cabin. We have a birthday party on board. So we always have to create and decorate and create, the experience ourselves. So details are important here and there, and to the ultimate luxury gift we have to put on, depending on the situation.
No, I mean, when you're saying that, I just remembered one of our service in Vebudo Elite is 1 day, 3 cities. It's actually from a client. So basically he wanted to propose his girlfriend. So he wants to go on a private jet, 3 different cities. And at the end, he wants to propose in Paris. So he started in London, then to Milan. So breakfast in London, then Milan's lunch, then dinner in Paris. And I was just like, wow. And imagine that kind of idea he had, and we have to pull it off. So attention to detail is a proposal. So we're like, oh my God, what's that? And after everything that successfully happened, I asked him, can I add these services on mine? Just nowadays, if you go to Vebudo Elite website, you will see it 1 day, 3 cities. And it's for now after that, we had many clients doing that, and they're like, this is amazing. So attention to details is so important for me as well.
Yeah, and imagine in this event you were mentioning like 1 day, 3 cities, and maybe you want to change, you want to change the decoration of the cabin depending on the flight. This flight he's going to propose, so you want to make it like a huge hearts all over, or balloons, or something like that, or then you want to create a more romantic environment, or a picnic on board, or like so that's what we do. We create the experience, and the experience is created by small details, adding one to the other.
While you're talking about experience, could you tell us what's the most extravagant request that you got, or maybe the craziest request that you got from a client? Do you remember anything like that? For me, it was actually unbelievable requests, but then that we made that into service, and we had many. I can go on all day for that. Do you remember anything that comes in your head, something that, oh my God, that is
I
something
don't know.
unique?
Maybe we have weird things for sure on board. I've seen a lot. Some of them I cannot even disclose, of course.
No, that's what I said. Can you say anything? Because I really don't.
But something that it was like it really catch my attention. Like, wow, it's like someone asked me to go back and to the city where we brought this passenger from, because he forgot the passport at the hotel, so we just went back. But this is maybe this is not the kind of thing you are looking for in this question, but I don't know, to have a private flight for a dog, like a pet, flying on its own, and the owner wanted to have the pet with him. Mm-hmm. And so he asked us to bring the pet from one city to the other. Mm-hmm. So we just need to, babysit the pet.
Bringing the pet is very normal for our job. It's, we do a lot of jet chartering. So that we get that a request a lot. But sometimes the request, it's like we think, wow, it's like what they need for the pet. How much care, how much love
exactly.
we need to show to the pet.
The requirements, the requirements and requests for the diet of this pet, and and how to take this pet to let's say go to the toilet, to do his things, and all these requests were like madness. It was crazy for me. So that's what really the experience was more weird because of that. This is the diet of the pet, and this is the dog can only eat this and that, and can only drink this and that, and he eat and drink at this at that time, and it was like, oh my God.
No, because for us at the start, I struggled to come to a term. Okay, we need to do that, but now it's very normal because we have been doing this for years, and it's like, okay, that's their request, and to make sure that happens perfectly fine. It's the only thing in my head before. But sometimes you do get a request, you're like, wow. And many times I just when the request comes to treat the mother or wife or a kid, because we have that as well, treat your kids, treat your partner kind of, we get that a lot of requests, and sometimes it's just so romantic, or sometimes it's just like, wow, it feels so good to do those kind of services, really. You mentioned about flight attendant skills, and so if someone's watching this and they wanted to be a VIP flight attendant, what are the skill set? Is it something that we can train? Of course you can train the work, but the personality, the person you are, is it something is trainable? Can they become VIP flight attendant with you?
Yeah, of course it's trainable. Not everything, but a big part of it you can always train and improve and learn and be trained on. I believe to be a good VIP flight attendant, you also have to have your unique personality. It's like we cannot just be all of us exactly the same, behaving the same way, and you need to bring your own spark to the job. But then for me, the main skills in order to succeed as a VIP flight attendant are too many, to be honest. You have to be intuitive, as I said before, or you have to be able to read the mind of your customer. You have to know the emotional state of your customer when they come on board, in order to provide the service they expect you to. And so we become a good mind readers. So you have to be intuitive, but this is something you can also train and get better at with the experience. You have to be stylish and elegant. At the end of the day, you are the face of the company. You are the image. So for me, this is a very, very important skill that you should have. Or of course, you can also train it, but usually comes more within your personality. Yeah. You have to be able to multitask. You also have to be a good coordinator, as you have to deal between different professions like pilots, caterers, handlers, hotel staff, FBOs, PAs of your clients themselves. So attention to detail, of course, as we mentioned before. And you have to be good at communication, very well organized, And one of the most important things for me is to be a out-of-the-box thinker. You always have to anticipate to every imaginable scenario that it can happen on board.
Yeah, wow.
So,
what you mentioned there was read the client's mind. It's something is unique and something that I learned over 13 years of doing business. And just to know because you can't be the same person every flight, because everyone comes as a VIP, have a different purpose for that flight. Some of them have a very important meeting. And you can't just be the same person throughout. As you said, that anticipation and know your client well, and then you read their mind and what the situation, what's the mood they're in, and act accordingly. It's quite important. And you said that very right. And also something that you said earlier, just the solution. Anything can go wrong, but find the solution. Something I learned as well, because now I run 4 different businesses. Something goes wrong every day, and you can't really think about the problem and solution. It's the key. And can you tell me a little bit about if there is something that went wrong in your experience, and something that you can't disclose is fine, but something that you went wrong and you just, because if someone watching this, I want them to know what can go wrong sometime and how do you find a solution?
Many things can go wrong, unfortunately, even though we are always, the key for this job is to be prepared. As I said before, you have to anticipate, and believe me, we do have a very, very a tough job on the ground, arranging and sorting out everything. And the what if is our favorite sentence, so I'm gonna buy this just in case, or what if this happened? I have to have this ready. What if the passenger wants? So of course, many times things, they don't go as you expect them, to be, or you probably make a mistake, or maybe it's not even your fault, but things happen. So I try to focus on, finding the solution. Sometimes you cannot, so you just try to compensate the client. Usually the main, problems we have on board is with the catering. And the catering is, it's very important when you fly private. It's of course, it's a part of the experience of the client is linked to the service they are receiving on board. So they have high expectations, of course, on the meal you're going to serve, the way you're going to serve the meal, the techniques you're going to use, serving the meals, the plating, the presentation.
Yeah, but
sometimes
then what do you do? What do you do when they ordered some food? Because what you're saying is not even in your hand, right? I mean, you just open up, there's food there, you serve them, nice presentation, perfectly done, and you give it to them. They taste it like, what is this?
Exactly.
Because that's something you can't do now. You're 40,000 feet up, and the food is just terrible.
I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking. I'm just in charge of, but the thing is, I'm the one choosing the catering company where I'm taking, the menu from, or sometimes we don't even use caterers anymore. We use restaurants or, hotel chefs. Or anything that it's available, and we try always to find the best quality of the product we are looking for. And it's the problem is you cannot control the quality of what other people is serving you, especially when it's the first time, because sometimes the catering company, or this restaurant and that restaurant, or the client and what he likes and what he doesn't like. But sometimes you go to remote places in the world. Maybe you are in the middle of, I don't know, Asia, Africa, Russia, and you have no clue of which, catering is a good provider, a VIP one. And you do your research, you talk to the FBO, you try to find, but sometimes at the end of the day, you're gonna encounter the problem just 1 hour or 1.5 hours before takeoff. So it happens to me, as you said before. One of my experience was we ordered the catering from a catering company, and when the food came on board, it was 2 hours before departure. It was something that I couldn't serve. impossible. Like, I cannot serve this food. It's like, it's not even for, let's say, it's not even an economy passenger is going to eat this food, or it's not presentable. There's nothing I can do to change, the presentation and look at, like, make it look presentable and something this customer would like to eat. So I had to take a taxi. Like, I was like almost there already, like decorating the cabin, preparing, everything to welcoming my guests. So I had to take a taxi, and I had to go to a restaurant nearby the airport and try to find it. It was like, please help me out, please do it, fast. I don't have much time, but I need to have something like I can serve my passengers. So so you do these kind of things. And another time, I remember I was serving caviar on board, and then I was prepping the flight. I was doing my pre-flight preparations, and I realized I lost my, the spoons for the caviar. You cannot serve caviar with any spoon. You have to use the mother pearl ones, or, at least the proper one. And I couldn't find them. And we had a lot of caviar to serve because the customer, requested it. Again, taxi. Go to shopping mall, try to find caviar spoons, and so that's our job. You always have to be on the top of things. You have to,
And as you said, think outside box, right? I mean, sometimes you can't say, "Oh, this happened, but nothing I can do now. I just stick with this." No, you think outside box, and from the way you're saying it, I can see how much passionate you are, and what happened to us every day, and how far you go to make sure that we don't make this experience as a bad one just because of this one small. But that could be the difference between being happy and satisfied and not being satisfied with your service, right? So that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing the experience. So the final question, Araceli, just what's your comments? What's your thoughts? What do you want to tell our clients, or what do you want to tell your clients?
So I would say flying private, it's exclusive. We all know that. It's a luxury, and it provides privacy and comfort from takeoff to landing. It gives the VIP passenger the full control of its flight, the date, the time, the in-flight service they want to have on board. And of course, if you are a first-time private flyer, once you experience it, you're gonna discover that there's nothing, like what you have experienced before. But you will also realize, like, the service is a big part of it, and having like a well-trained and professionals on board, it's like will make your experience unique and much better. It's like it makes a huge difference. That's my point when I'm trying to explain. So I always say, like, the pilots, don't get me wrong, they can do a great job, and the client would appreciate that. But usually the clients will evaluate their experience as good or bad on a private flight based on the performance of the VIP flight attendant. We have a huge responsibility, and that's why having a well-trained VIP flight attendant, in my opinion, is essential. So
wow. I'm very happy that someone like you starting a company, so we can imagine, as you mentioned, it's very important for us as well. For my clients, when they're flying, it's very important. I'm very picky on who I get as a flight attendant as well, when I have that control over. And you're right, and I'm very glad that you started a company and training people. So if anyone wants to join in, they can come to your company. Or from our side, when we wanted to hire a flight attendant, VIP flight attendant, we can contact you. It's that you provide service for that, not you as in your students, would you recommend students for?
Yeah, exactly. Our flight attendants are professionally trained to provide a bespoke service, and luckily they are available to take vacancies all over the world, and it will be a great opportunity for them. Yeah, of course.
So is there a restriction in your school that where they can go on work, or anyone watches can contact you for VIP flight attendant?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't have this type of deals with operators right now, but I usually give a lot of guidance to my students and I guide them and I help them and assist them on which companies to apply and which companies, also depending on the profile of the student, because sometimes, so I try to link different professionals to different operators that I believe they are, they're going to match themselves.
Some of them expect a lot of experience, and that's the requirement sometime needed, and that's great. I'm so happy, and thank you so much for this time. And I think it's a great value for anyone watches from client's perspective, or us as a company's perspective, or a student who like to be a VIP flight attendant and can join you. So it's fantastic. Thank you so much, Araceli, for your time.
Thank you so much, Prakash. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.